All right, and we are live. Got a little time to do these. Hopefully, the sound's not too bad in the background. When people get in here, I'll ask people if it's too loud. And if it is, I'll just shut it down. But for those of you who join in after the fact, which is most of you who watch these after they're done, please remember to subscribe to my channel down below. You may want to click that bell to get the notifications for when I do one of these. Remember to join my Orc Army. Follow me on Instagram. Use my Amazon affiliate link, all that stuff. But I better announce this on the Facebook or something so that people know. Let's highlight it all in red or something so they can see it. There we go. That'll get a few people in. That gets seen easier than the live stream, it seems like. Right? All right. A few people in here, but not many. It'll fill up now that I announced it on Facebook. I should have done that at the start. Hey guys, those of you who are in here, is this too loud? They're running the water outside and the faucet is right next to my little studio room here in my office. So if it's too loud, let me know and I could just shut this stream down. Otherwise, I'll keep it rolling. Second, do you think Brandon Carter? I don't care about Brandon Carter. Second, I'm going to be honest with you. I could not give a single fuck about the existence of Brandon Carter. I live my life as if other YouTube fitness channels no longer exist. I don't watch them. I ignore them. I pretend they don't exist. So if he's not real, then how could he be natty? Or not natty for that matter. He doesn't exist to me. See how easy that is? I don't watch other YouTube fitness. I haven't in years. Hey, Jason, you're truly the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. The noise isn't too loud. Excellent. Hey, Jason, is it likely that an advanced lifter's bench will go down after a 20-pound cut? Potentially. Potentially, yeah. 20-pound cut, man, that's significant. It may go down. You'll probably be able to regain it later, though, up to a point, if you regain the muscle mass. All right, Jason, would a 500 milligram test only cycle cause testicular atrophy? I have no idea. Had I allegedly ever been not natty, I never got testicular atrophy. It's not a side effect I'm allegedly prone to. Even on a lot more than that. Jason, if I do 5x5 back off work, is 80% of my training max reasonable? Or should I be looking at 70 to 75? You need to be looking at 70 to 75. Do you think you're going to do heavy work and then you're going to do back off work with 5x5 at 80%? You're going to beat yourself into the ground. And there's no need to go to failure like that, to take those things to the bleeding edge. It's not necessary to make 100% of your gains. It's beating up your recovery. Is it possible to have the upper chest as a weak link in the bench? If so, how would you go about detecting that? Probably not, because the bench works your whole chest. That would just be a general chest weakness. And more benching or more chest work would fix it. Keep in mind, the flat bench builds the entire chest evenly, top to bottom. It's not biased towards the upper or the lower, whereas in some other lifts are biased towards the upper or the lower. Hey, Jason, I started working manual labor job on the weekend. I am doing squat, bench, deadlift Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Can I do bench, squat, deadlift because my legs are not recovered from the work? No, they'll adapt to it. They'll adapt to it. You'll be fine. Give it 3 weeks and you'll be right back to hitting PRs again on squat Monday. I see what you did there, Coach. Theoretically, yeah, hypothetically, because I'm hashtag natty like everyone else in the industry. I just compete untested. I had a day when I didn't get enough sleep and was sure my training was going to suck and expected to be weaker, yet I still somehow hit a PR. How is that possible? It'll catch up with you the next day. One night of bad sleep doesn't actually usually impact your training. It's 2 or 3 nights in a row. Now, on the other hand, we have 41 people watching. and only 11 likes. I'm not answering any more questions until those likes go up. Get some engagements, guys. You watch me drink water. Some of these freaks are into shit like that, though. Look at the weirdos in this community. All right, probably jerking off to me drinking water. What are your thoughts on doing an all-out set of 5 to 8 reps followed by 2 to 5 sets of straight sets? Well, man, you're going to confuse the fuck out of me. Doing an all-out set of 5 to 8 followed by 2 to 8 sets of 8 for hypertrophy. Polarity. You watch my client blog. I know what tons of them do. So what do I think about it? I think I program that way all the time and show it to you on my channel. Hey, coach, please share your thoughts about your 605 squat. How do you approach heavy squat? Squatting is not fun. I approach them calmly. The main thing to me for squatting is to avoid psyching up in any way. I keep a clear head. I think it through calmly and I visualize before I approach the bar. I'd never, ever, ever, ever psych myself up for a squat. That's a real bad idea. That's how you get hurt. Coach, if I were to cut from 215 to 220, how much muscle would I lose? I don't know. You might not lose any. You might lose 15 pounds of muscle. You might lose 0 muscle. Good afternoon, coach. I've been running conjugate for the past year with a good success. I like your 3-day split on 5-3-1. Can combining conjugate with the 3-day training exist? If you're going to do that, it gets complicated. You need to either spread it out because you're an athlete who needs a recovery, or I'd literally just set it up as MB type work 3 days a week, maybe. I don't know. Similar to what I'm doing. Okay, but would you 5 years ago say Brandon Carter is natty or no? I don't. If he's an influencer, he's not natty. It's that simple. Period. Either you believe everyone's natty on these platforms, or you realize that's a business ploy and that no good businessman is going to be natty while doing that. Coach, would you say the new natty is 1,000 milligrams of test per week? I think that if you use a gram of test a week, you get to use the hashtag natty in 2022. I agree. Your hashtag natty if you use a gram of test, exactly a gram. No more, no less. I think that's a good solid number. I like a gram. I've got a coworker that now thinks he's a bodybuilder bragging that he's lost 30 pounds of pure fat. Is it okay to tell him he should not have had 30 pounds of fat to lose in the first place? Well, I don't know what he bases that on. You know, did he sure he lost 30 pounds of pure fat? That's pretty impressive if he did. Hey, Jason, I've noticed in your client log, some of your clients for a 3-day versus 4-day 5-3-1. Are you seeing better bench gains on the 3-day versus 4-day with less press frequency? I find some of my guys on the 3-day get the best bench improvement. I mean, I've got some elite guys who do that. Okay, will wide grip pull-ups alone build my upper back trap through delts rhomboids? No, you need some deadlifts and you need something else in there. They'll build it pretty decently. You're not going to maximize it. You know, if you're doing higher volume deadlifting, that'll do it. If you're adding some rows in, that'll do it. You don't need many. Or just some band pull aparts and stuff. But you'll need a little bit more, but wide grip pull-ups can handle a pretty good chunk of it. Is there a big difference between going ass to grass and regular squatting? Depends on what you define as regular. I consider powerlifting standards to be regular, just below parallel. Realistically, that's not a straightforward answer, man. I'm gonna have to write you a whole book. Sorry, brother. You're gonna need to be very, very specific in that. Otherwise, I'm gonna spend the entire hour trying to answer that question. But Brandon Carter is weak. Yeah, I know plenty of guys on 2 grams of gear who are weak. I have heard that a low back coming slightly out of extension in a deadlift is a power leak, but I find I deadlift way more when I brace hard. We don't necessarily keep my back perfectly flat. Thoughts? Okay, coming out of extension versus using thoracic rounding are different. Coming slightly out of extension means that it's slipping midway through the lift. Not only a power weak, it's a sign of weakness. There's some weaknesses involved. If you're using thoracic rounding as an advanced technique where you start with everything rounded already, that's different. It's a different technique. But you're going to have to build musculature accordingly to be able to lock it. Is phytic acid a concern for health? Mineral absorption? No. Jason just recently crossed over to hashtag natty. Is gaining a little scale weight within a calorie deficit normal? Yeah, it's transient storage factors. Anytime you up your dose, bro, you're going to gain some weight even if you're cutting. It's not fat. Hey, Jason, do you think 6 sets of back work, not counting deadlifts, be enough for a power lifter? Maybe. I'd like to see you closer to 10. What do you think about squat shoes with elevated heels? I think that those are for narrow stance Olympic squatting. And if you're doing narrow stance squatting and you need them because of your dorsiflexion to reach depth, then wear them. If you are not narrow stance squatting, they are a potential problem for causing knee inflammation. Don't wear them. Jason, how do so many college student bodybuilders afford anabolics? I have a friend who competes and doesn't even have a job yet. He can afford anabolics. Probably does G for P. But anabolics aren't expensive. Like when we say drugs are expensive for bodybuilders, we're not talking about testosterone. Testosterone is cheaper than protein powder. Okay, context. A broke person could afford a gram of test a week. Like if you can afford protein powder, you can afford a gram of test a week. Okay, it's things like growth hormone. That's what gets expensive. Some of the drugs they use for contest prep, primobolan. Right, primobolan's super expensive. Anavar is expensive. Test, Deca, stuff like that. Dianabol, those are not expensive. Bro, does hyperplasia work in humans? It has never been found to occur in the lab. Anyone who's telling you that they can cause hyperplasia in humans is a liar and a con man, according to the research. Jason, how accurate are gym body fat percentage scales? They don't actually have any ability to measure body fat. There's no science behind them. They're not remotely accurate. They don't actually have any way to even estimate your body fat. Is 1 milligram of melatonin a good starting point if I've never took it before or start with higher doses already? What? Well, the second part of your question doesn't make sense. But I think 1 milligram is a good starting point, yes. Do you think athletes miss out on a lot of explosiveness running 5-3-1 over conjugate? No, not necessarily. Can I have a consultation call just for direction rather than actually being coached by you? Yes, send me an application for one. Message me on my Facebook fitness page, which is linked under every video. I charge $75 for a 1 hour consultation. I do several of them a month. Coach, I hit, but have an idea of what you want to discuss, like when you talk to me about it, so that I know what topics you're going to want to cover. Coach, I hit 13 reps on my 1+ day, going to need to adjust my training max. Yeah, you're going to need to adjust it a lot. Does backgrounding on deadlifts require more upper back strength? It requires more back strength in general. You do that to remove your hamstrings out of the equation a little bit, to use more upper back. Keeping in mind, glutes and hamstrings will always be the primary mover. But if you're using thoracic rounding, you are actually now having to dynamically use your back instead of isometrically in order just to lock the weight, just for the lockout. I feel more comfortable performing sumo deadlifts. Should I stick with them or try conventional deadlifts? I think you should train both if you train sumo some. Ways or supplements for foods to improve immune system. I always get a cold, which ruins my gym progress. That's a very complicated topic. Lots of fruits and vegetables, vitamin D3, all those things affect your immune system in the long term. But keep in mind, your diet's effects on immune system are long term. You're not going to get a change in 2 weeks. You just said squatting in heels can cause knee inflammation, and I wear them and have been feeling the exact same thing. Which shoes do you recommend for squatting? I wear Chuck Taylors for all my squatting. I wear my black leather patch Chucks all the time on camera. And at competition, I wear my navy blue Chucks to match my SBD singlet and knee sleeves and wrist straps. Hi, Coach. How often would you recommend getting blood work when transitioning to plus natty 1 time? No, Mike, you only do like twice a year. Hey, Coach. I aim to train at 6 a.m. when I lift. I have a large dinner around 7 p.m. most days. Would it be okay to train fasted first thing? No, don't ever train fasted. You will have less performance. That is well documented in the literature. You need to always eat before you train. Is eating a large amount of white rice a good strategy to gain weight healthily? On a bulk? Yeah, absolutely. Would you recommend Clint only? No. For context, Coach, I was 345 times 13 deadlift. It was easy, but my stamina got taxed toward the end. Maybe need more GPP. Yep. Increase your GPP. Right? Increase your GPP. And you need to raise that training max. Any particular reason why you abandoned the free weight belt squat in favor of the belt squat machine? I didn't. I still hit a training max on the squat every Monday. What are you talking about? I mean, for my hypertrophy work. Yep, because I need to maximize hypertrophy and minimize axial loading right now. I'm going to be getting stronger and stronger again now that I've mostly finished losing most of the body fat I'm going to lose. I have more to lose, but now my lifts are going to go up. Every meet, I'm going to PR. My training maxes are going to go up. I'm in my late 40s. I would rather just hypertrophy everything after doing the max work and look at recovery a little closer. My younger guys who are weaker, you don't need to do that. Look, if you squat 400 pounds, you don't need to be thinking that way. If you're 25 years old. My situation's a little different. So it's completely unique to me, although I do have Brett doing something kind of similar. Jason, would you say weighted neck curls are an effective way to train the neck and increase its size? Yes. I don't care about bodybuilders yet. No one gives a fuck about bodybuilders. They're all going to die. They're dropping like flies. It's a degenerate, disgusting lifestyle. Fuck them. Jason, will deficit deadlifts help a lower back weakness, or are they nothing special compared to conventional from the floor? Potentially. All right. The added range of motion might have some potential for additional hypertrophy. And it's not a bad option for a hypertrophy exercise. Okay. You just got to look at it in the context of your overall training. What is your opinion on the carnivore diet, the natural human? It's not the natural human diet. I'm a fan of very high protein diets. I'm a fan of people eating large amounts of meat, right? I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a great thing. The carnivore diet is literally moronic. You're removing vegetables. I'm going to tell you right now, any diet that is not built around eating large amounts of animal source protein and large amounts of vegetables is not ideal for an athlete. If you're on my channel, I assume you're trying to be an athlete. So you need both of those things. So that means the carnivore diet, the vegan diet are out. They're both out. Right? Unless it's a carnivore diet where they're eating a bunch of vegetables, and that's not the carnivore diet. Coach, is coconut oil toxic in your opinion? It's not toxic, but I don't think it's healthy. How do you deal with DOMs? I train in a way that doesn't give me DOMs. Why are you getting DOMs? Are you a noob? You have bad programming? What's going on? Change your programming. Which nuts are best in terms of overall nutrition profiles? I enjoy cashews the most, but other types of nuts seem more nutritious. Marco, it's not straightforward. It depends on what you're looking for in the nuts. All right, you can go look at things like pecans, walnuts, almonds, any of those. Even peanuts to some extent, they all have really good nutrition profiles, but they have different ratios. Some of them have dramatically different types of fats, different amounts of magnesium, vitamin E, and things compared to each other. So there's a pretty wide diversity. So nutritious, they're all nuts are highly nutritious. If you're looking for specific things, well, then that's when you need to look closer. Or you could just eat a variety of nuts and count them into your calories. Hey, coach, I recently discovered the hip belt squat and love it. I have a question. Can we up the volume on it since it doesn't load the backs much, or 6x10 a week in addition to other work be too much? Seneca, you still have to deal with localized recovery. Okay, it's not just axial loading matters for your systemic recovery, right? It matters it'll affect your ability to deadlift heavy every week, but you still have to deal with the localized recovery in tendons and joints. So your volume shouldn't necessarily be higher. Just expect that your system will recover a little better, right? Everyone gets into this idea that if they recover better overall or somewhere else, that they can weigh up the volume in certain areas. And that's not necessarily the case. That's almost falling into that idea that, well, if I don't train my legs, my upper body will grow faster. Yeah, that's not how it works, right? I've never trained with a belt before, coach, but I'd like to use one. Do you recommend a 4-inch, 10-millimeter single prong? I don't even remember what the width is on belts. Whatever, man, the regular power belts. I forget what the dimensions are on the height. They're all the same. All the power belts are the same. A 10 millimeter, though, is a good starting belt. 13s, like I use a 13. I have a couple of 13 millimeter Ingers that I use. Those are not for beginners. You're going to want some belt practice because you got to break those in. I have a home gym, but I always work out in a hotel gym because I travel for work. Any advice on how to program this? I don't know, man. I mean, that's like coming down to how do I program for anyone? That's really almost a client question. I mean, I program for clients who have to travel, but I don't know, follow a proven program and figure out what's going to be in the hotel gyms. The hotels I've been to lately don't even have real gyms. There's like a couple of dumbbells and some treadmills. I don't know how to work with that. Is it normal for my chest to hurt after bench press from the bar shoving into my chest at the bottom? Yeah, maybe, but you maybe should control it a little more. Jason, did old school lifters really do DECA only cycle, or is that complete BS? No, DECA only is fine. I know people tell you on the internet you can't do that. You can. I personally think you're going to feel better on a heavy test base. Right? Your dick's going to get harder. Your energy is going to be better. But in terms of being able to run it just fine, and plenty of people ran DECA only back in the day. Also, thanks for answering my questions most of the time, Jason. I always recommend you to serious lifters at the gym. What do you have against Cedric Millen? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this guy. Bodybuilding. Bodybuilding's not better than shit. It's a death cult. It's a death cult of degenerates who sell their bodies to other men for drugs. I agree with Jason. 531 is basically the most popular bro split out there. It's not a bro split, though. It doesn't have an arm day. It's not 5 days a week with a shoulder day and arm day. Therefore, it's not a bro split. That deadlift was smooth like butter today, Coach. Thank you. It was good training, Max. Well, I know JM's recently, they beat your elbows up, and they still don't even really hit the long head. For someone who has arms as a strong point plus good arm genes, do I even need to isolate them? Well, you can't isolate muscles, Oldie Garden. It's impossible to isolate a muscle. That's a weird word bodybuilders came up with. You can't do it. But as far as that goes, you may not need to. You may not be like me. I have to do a lot of arm work because my arm genetics suck. And even they don't even ever look as big as they actually measure in genetics. And, is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. I've got to do it. But if your arms are just big automatically, then no, you don't need to worry about it. Right? Especially if your triceps get big just from pressing, don't worry about them. Lever belt versus prong, your preference. Man, there are pros and cons to both. I'm going to say it depends on you personally. I like the prong because of the amount of bulking and cutting I've done. I don't have to adjust it. I can just set it. But if you're staying at kind of the same body weight, there are benefits to the lever because you can just open and close it. You can set it and forget it. Does dirty bulk for size and strength actually work for, say, 3-month period? Yeah, it does. But I mean, what you're calling a dirty bulk, I would just call a fast bulk. But bulking really is it's a rate of bulk is the way you need to think of things, right? Bulking should be a number scale, not a clean, dirty, fast. No, it should be a number scale. How many pounds a month are you going to gain, right? And that's how we think about it. If you get fatter, you'll gain more muscle, but there's going to be, you quickly get very, very rapidly diminished returns when you do that. Meaning that extra 2 pounds of fat might only be giving you 1 ounce of muscle. So, and if you're going to have to trim it down later, you have to debate, is that really worth it or not? That's what you have to think about. I'm back to sumo pulling, and it is sore on hips and a good 10 plus kilograms weaker than conventional. How to bring it up apart from just very wide box squats, which I'm doing. In sumo itself, what do you know what Louis Simmons says? The belt squat. Wide stance belt squat is the easiest way to bring the sumo up if it has that big of a discrepancy. Right? What would be the difference between a barbell and a Smith machine shrug or RDL? Oh, Smith machine. Well, on an RDL, it's not going to have your correct bar path. Right? I mean, a shrug, I suppose there wouldn't be any disadvantage, but you're going to be locked into a bar path for your RDL. It's not going to be as good. There are people on the internet who think they need to train bench 3+ times a week to make progress. You think it's all in their heads? Yeah, I think it is. Because the people who say that will say, but this guy or that champion does it. Okay. Okay, that's fine. But there are also plenty of guys who bench over 500 pounds raw who only train bench once a week. See, so you see the issue with their logic? So if you take and you find 200 people who all bench over 500 pounds, and half of them only do it once a week and the other half do it 3 to 4 times a week, does that prove that 3 to 4 times a week is an advantage? No, it doesn't. It proves that they were equal in terms of strength development. I'd argue that high a frequency of benching is harder on your joints, though. Hey, coach, is it true that Milo of Croton is the strongest human to have ever lived? No. He half squatted a 400-pound bull. And as far as what we know, I'm technically stronger than him as an old man. Have you deadlifted on the Kabuki bar? Because I know they are USPA, which uses them. And is it much whippier than the other bars? Jim Vlog, the meet I did, they used the Texas deadlift bar still. Worlds, when I'm going to Worlds in October, it's still using the Texas deadlift bar listed. They haven't fully transitioned over. I haven't touched one. So they've been using the same bar that I have at home, which is the Texas deadlift bar. With a seated, upright, back supported, easy bar. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even read that. All right. Are you still currently cutting? Haven't checked in a while. I stopped cutting for just a few weeks, Cave. I'm back to cutting now, and the scale is coming down. If you notice the vlogs today, the legs and everything, yeah. You know, Charles, that's a trolley ass silly question. I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to ban you for that one though, because you're being playful. You're not being, so too bad. Hey there, Jason. What's your opinion on SBD days? Are they necessary, optional speed contests preparing for a meet? I have a squat, bench, and a deadlift day every week. Can I do muscle group every day if my total volume in a week does not exceed? I wouldn't recommend it. I think you're going to get more likely to have localized overuse as a result because you're not ever letting the connective tissue heal. Do you know how to stop getting sharp ulnar forearm burn during straight bar curls even after resting? Yes, learn to hold the bar correctly. Learn to let your wrist trail and don't do this. Right, wrist behind, wrist behind. There's your solution. Find a grip width that doesn't hurt. It's probably slightly wider than you're doing. I have only found 2 good uses for a Smith machine, inverted rows and JMs for a slight decline, which hammer the tries like nothing else. Would not buy one for a home gym. Oh, I thought bulls were like 1,500 pounds. Gentle state, they are. Modern bulls. Okay. In Texas, the bulls are 1,500 pounds. In ancient Greece, they were not. You understand? Food quality difference, food volume differences, genetics. We have selectively bred these cows and bulls for thousands of years to be bigger. Right? It's been estimated that the bulls of his time, the bull that he probably carried was probably 400 pounds. Which, hey, that's not bad. I mean, the dude walked around with a 400-pound bull draped over his shoulders. With deep, large range of motion deficit hypertrophy. Bro, you ask some really weird questions. Why can't you just say deficit deadlifts? Like, why do we need these really long qualifiers for these exercises? Why don't you just ask me, can deficit deadlifts hypertrophy hamstrings effectively? See how easy that would be? Yes, the answer is yes. I stopped 5-3-1 during my 1+ week due to a deload. Should I return again to my 5+ week and restart the cycle? No, go back to a 5+ week. What I meant is, will the squat, bench, deadlift on the same day? Sorry, I didn't make that clear. I mean, you could do it, a little bit out from a meet if you just want to see where you are. Enrique, you could. I don't think it's necessary. I did it for this last one only because I just kind of needed to see what was going on. Right? I'm not going to do it again for the next coming meets. Coach, which you like more, closed grip, bench, or dips? Depends on the lifter. Depends on specifically what we're trying to do with the exercise also. Would you program accessory assistance work differently for a sumo puller? Any specific movements? Thanks a lot. Well, are they a sumo puller? Do they need to be a sumo puller? Like, why is that person a sumo puller? If a person really is telling me they're really serious about sumo pulling at competition and they're not significantly stronger on sumo, I'm going to tell them if they don't have the right equipment, they probably shouldn't really pursue that route. Again, I'd like to see a belt squat. Louis Simmons would agree with that. The late Louis Simmons would. Hey, Jason, do you think doing the big four squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press 2 times a week, 5, and 3 one day, and 3 would be a good program? Now, could you guys quit asking me about the GGCLP? No, I don't think that that's really ideal. What is your opinion on squatting a mono lift in a meet versus walking out a squat? I much prefer walking out. I do not like mono lifts. I've competed in both. I prefer walking out. Jason, is it possible for and if no one's doing multiply, you don't even need a mono lift. Jason, is it possible for a natural who is 6 foot tall to weigh 100 kilograms and be around 12% body fat? I don't know. Plug it into a fat-free mass index calculator. Why is it the guys who train for aesthetics tend to be the biggest bro scientists? They would be better off training smart. Well, Marco, and how come so many of the evidence-based guys are tiny and weak? They would be better off training smart and hard. That could be the answer to that. So there's a lot of bad information out there. Good girl machine, yay or nay? Maybe. Robin, what's up, brother? I've been bulking and done 3 cycles of 5-3-1, boring but big, and really like it. However, wondering would there be any benefits of switching to 5 instead of 10 if hypertrophy is the main priority? I don't know that I would switch from the 5s, switch into the 5s necessarily. You could do a mix of both. Maybe you could figure out the movements that benefit the most from it for you. Right? But I think, the 10s are a little easier to recover from, at least at the systemic level. I mean, we could argue about 5 versus 10 and joint movement and stuff. It depends on what you're trying to do. I still like 5s for close variations of the main movements or the main movements sometimes. And there's a lot of ways you could look at it. I don't know. This is going to get too nuanced to really cover here. But we've had multiple consultations in the past, bro. Something we could always cover later on. I support Jason on his statements about bulls 200 to 300 years ago. Well, no, we're talking over like 3,000 years ago, Alexander. They weighed between 200 and 300 kg. By the way, I have a bachelor's in animal production. Okay, fair enough. I'm a fan of conventional deadlifts, high bar, ass grass squats, and close grip bench, but I'm just a recreational lifter. Oh my gosh. No one wants to go see your silly stuff, but I'm going to keep your money. That's the rule, guys. No one wants to go see your crazy website. But keep paying me. Keep paying me. I'm not going to ban you as long as you pay me in each post. But the first post you make where you don't pay me, I'm going to ban you. How's that? That's fair? All right. Fill that money bank up so I can buy a house. So all my YouTube money goes into savings to buy a house. All of it. All right. What's the maximum amount of muscle a novice can gain in a week, Jason? I mean, we're talking per week. It's not worth worrying about. Per month, we could worry about. I've used a mono and that's very easy to find online, Timmy. I mean, novices can gain up to, in many cases, 2 pounds of muscle a month. I used a mono for the very first time and didn't really throw me off, and I prefer it. But some guys who are super used to walking it out will still choose to walk out 1,000 plus. Yep. I've been told not to hold my breath during lifts. Apparently increases a lot of intracellular pressure, and I have glaucoma. I don't have any suggestions for a glaucoma. Sorry. I generally recommend holding your breath. When I deadlift, when you see me set up a single on the deadlift, I breathe before I touch the bar. I pull the weight and I let the air out after I set it down. That's all one breath. Do you have any of your lifters do the barbell step up? Yes. Jason, is 753 a decent program to run for hypertrophy or better? I don't know what 753 is. Would you say 100 pounds over body weight is a regular bench press for most lifters? No. Hey, Coach Big Lenny, make a video on you. I'm going to ban you for even telling me that someone made a video about me. You guys know the rules. I don't want to know that people made videos about me. I don't want to see them. Can you build the inner quad with what exercises? You can't target the inner quad versus the outer quad. Coach, is fat-free mass index accurate? I don't understand the question. Hot baths for recovery? Yes, potentially. Coach, your trolls are something else. I've never seen anything like this. So obsessed with another man. Benny, they all have a weird sexual thing about me. Notice how sexual all their stuff is. They basically want to have sex with me, and they're upset that I won't have sex with them. They're all complete weirdos. Like even the guy making that page who's donating the money. I mean, imagine being that weird, that obsessed with a YouTuber who you've never met. It's crazy. Do you still coach Chris? Haven't seen his vlogs. No, Chris had to drop out. He did thank me a lot. He was really happy with what he got, but he ran into a financial issue. And I don't run a charity, guys. Would you consider upright rows a good shoulder and back workout? Yeah. Well, not back, but shoulder, sure. Do you feel like a bouncier bumper plate is better or one with minimal bounce? I like them with a little less bounce. Jason, Max Tuning has some crazy sumo deadlift. Max is over 600 pounds. He claims natural that possible is the only ways. He hasn't look at his other lifts though. All right. And you need to go look at what his weights are in comp versus what he actually, those numbers. Don't just say he weighs like, because keep in mind, we don't compete at what we weigh. I just did my last meet at 198. I plan on breaking world records in the 198 Masters too, right? You think I weigh 200 pounds? Dude, I'm 217 right now. I was 214 24 hours before my weigh-in. The lowest I've been outside of a water cut is 209. Now, I'm going to work down under 210 to try to stay there, but that's how powerlifting works. So if the guy weighs in at 170, he probably weighs 180 or 185. So you need a context for that in powerlifting. Okay, you need a context for that. And I documented that whole water cut. I showed you guys as I went. And then, right after I made weight, which is an official weigh-in so that you guys know it's official on calibrated scales with the judges approving it. I stepped back on the scale at 220 less than 24 hours after the weigh-in. Showed you guys all that on camera. So you guys kind of watched the whole progression on Instagram, right? With my water cut. So I went 214 down to the 198 and was up to 220 before the meet even started. That's normal. That's easy. Hey, Coach, you like trucks or cars more? I don't know. I like both. I do like trucks, though. My back has blown up from volume deadlifts on 531, way bigger than any other bodybuilding program I've done. Dude, if you've never done a phase of volume deadlifting before, you'll get a big burst of size out of it. Best way to build a sumo deadlift, assuming it's box squats. Good morning, RDLs, rows, anything else? Yeah, belt squats. Coach, have you ever had any clients that had elbow tendonitis from lower box squatting? How do you fix this? First of all, I fix their elbow tendonitis, and then we work on them learning how to hold the bar correctly. Can you tell us how much do you charge a month for coaching? $250 per month. I'm very public about that. After I break world records, I am raising my rates, by the way. So you guys might, if you want in at the rate, you may want to get in before I do worlds. The moment I have 2 world records, I'm not charging $250 anymore. So that's what my current 32 clients, what most of them pay. A few people get discounts. Some people are grandfathered in at old prices because I don't raise rates for old clients. But for the majority of my clients pay $250. And that's what you're going to expect to pay if you apply these days. I don't know what I'm going to raise it to after Worlds. Can you do more Q&As? Nope, not interested. They were not worth the hassle. Way too much work, and it was too hard to get questions. These work way, way better. A live stream takes less work than doing Q&As. High rep deadlifts is the only exercise I've got glute DOMs on. Interesting. I've gotten them from reverse hypers. I love commitment of this man. Turned his whole apartment into a gym, eats all his meals from an exercise block. I don't know, man. That's almost a trolly statement because that's not actually all true, by the way. That's not actually true. I don't know where you're getting all of that. All right. I have a boxing match coming up with 3 days weigh-in. Do you think it's okay for water cut from 72 kilo to 65? No, it's too late, dude. If you're weighing in 3 days from now, or do you mean a 3-day weigh-in, like 3 days before the match? Yeah, you can do that, but you better know how to do it. Hey, coach, what can I do to get the old school bodybuilder look? I don't know. Train like an old school bodybuilder. Don't get too lean. Hey, Jason, you've always seemed so well spoken and articulate whenever you talk. Do you read many books? If so, what are your favorites? I have read thousands of books, and I took a public speaking class in college. Do you think pasture-raised eggs are worth the money? Maybe, potentially. They do have slightly better nutrition. It's not enormously different though. Yeah, that's his other thing you point out. Old school bodybuilder look, just don't take HGH or insulin. That's part of it. Just stick to anabolics. That's what they did. And they didn't use dry stacks. They used wet anabolics, right? They didn't have aromatase inhibitors. They did stuff like DECA and D-bowl stacks. Now, before someone says, wait, you can't get like them natural, they weren't natural. I'm sorry, they were hashtag natural. 3 days before, it's in 3 months. Yeah, start researching, dude. That's not unreasonable. 7 kg, I dropped that much. Did you get rid of the trap bar? No, I needed to move it for some stuff. I'm going to put it back in here later. I should get rid of it. I should just throw that piece of shit in the dumpster where the trap bar belongs. Throw it in the dumpster and take a picture of it in the dumpster. Upload it to the internet. Be like, even though it's a rogue trap bar that I paid hundreds of dollars for, this is where it belongs, in the trash. Trap bars, useless hunk of shit. Man, that'll upset some people. You say that, some people get so upset. People are so emotionally attached to that trap bar. Favorite accessory exercise to help build up the press? Probably anything for your triceps, to be honest. Coach, can I do 5x10 leg raises alone on my rest day? Is it better to program it on training days? I think you do it on rest days. I'm doing mine on my off days now, mostly. How has it been coaching your Muslim clients during Ramadan? It's not bad. You just can't push them as hard. You can't push them as hard during Ramadan because they're fasting, dude. It's not going to work. Right? We don't go for PRs. Our goal, if I'm coaching a Muslim during that time, my goal is for him to just keep his gains for that month. Trap bar grip is usually too wide. Yep. But low handle will be okay on the extras. I don't own one. Yeah, dude, they flip on you. Any preference for lifting belt lever or power? I already answered that one. You'll have to go back and listen. What do you think of fitness age? I've seen people do fitness tests to see how old they are based on their fitness performance. I don't know. I don't have any opinion on that at all. None at all, brother. I guess that's cool. Is it based on any science? I used to do Pendlay rows, but started having left proximal forearm pain with this. No issues with cable rows, neutral grip. Ideas to reincorporate Pendlay rows. Try inverted rows. How did the old school guys train? A lot of big movements. They incorporate a lot of heavy work followed by pump work. It's funny because I've seen other trainer who pretends to be evidence-based, but he's, do you even lift, of course? Hate on conventional deadlifts, yet he recommends trap bar instead because it's safer. It's safer. I don't think it's safer. I'd made a status on that a while back, actually, on Facebook. I don't think it's safer at all. I think if you don't know how to perform either one correctly, the trap bar is slightly safer. If you know how to correctly perform both, I think the conventional is safer. My opinion. Jason, are you a legend? I don't know. Some people like to act like I am. I think I am a guy who loves lifting. I've dedicated my life to strength training. I'm out there. I've made a few mistakes and done and said a few silly things in the past that, I've apologized for. And these days I try to just push strength, man. That's what I care about. I want to get everybody really fucking strong. That's become my goal in life. My goal in this world is to set aside all the other nonsense. I just want to get people strong. I'm passionate about that. That's what I care about. That's what I love. And that's it. I mean, that's literally 80% of my life is built around that. My private relationships and stuff and spirituality make up the rest. That's the bulk of my life and what I think about all day. Thank you. Really appreciate all the great info advice. You're welcome, brother. Would you recommend beef jerky to get in calories? Yeah, I like beef jerky during meat days, actually, Jordan. Jordan's, that's JV there. That is Jordan from my vlogs. Coach, do you agree the sumo deadlift should be banned from powerlifting meets? Every guy who sumos can barely conventional. Dude, I've seen some guys who are real strong at both, to be honest. Are you asking me personally, or are you asking me from the perspective of fairness in the sport? I mean, because I'm going to have two different answers. I think the sumo is fair. I think it's within the rules. It's been there a long time. I don't see it going anywhere. Would I personally be okay if they tried to phase it out and only do conventional? I would be fine with that personally. I might even lean that direction if it came up for a vote among all powerlifters. But realistically, I'm not upset that sumo stays in either. Does that make sense? I don't have like a super strong opinion about it. I'm slightly more biased toward the conventional. And I can admit that bias is there. All right. Jason, is there now a trend in the evidence-based community mentioning that Smith machine squats, oh my God, are superior than barbell squats because they stimulate the quads better, superior posture and safer? I don't like them. I don't like the Smith machine, dude. My pics were taken from your, no, they weren't. That's a totally modified picture, but keep paying me, dude. Keep sending me money. Come on. Give me that money. Thoughts on carnivore doctors? I think that's malpractice. How many sets of deadlifts would you recommend a week? Somewhere between 1 and 10. Started Ice Cream Fitness Novice 2.0 recently. People told me that I should not train pendlay rows because it will hurt my back and does not train my back effectively compared with other row exercises. Is this true, coach? If I thought it was true, would I have put it in the program? Coach, can you unban my friend Lightspeak? You ban him. No, it's not that easy to unban people, dude. You act like it's just something I could easily do in 30 seconds. It takes a lot of work. You actually have to contact me through private messages, and I have to have links directly to his profile, and I still don't see a reason to unban him. Every single guy at my meet did conventional deadlifts, although sumo being banned is at least enforceable, unlike banning the big arch. You won't be able to ban the arch. It's not enforceable. Banning the sumo is enforceable. But yeah, back to the point, truth. The literally without a direct link sent to me to a person's actual YouTube, I cannot unban them. That is required for me to unban someone. I have to have the actual URL of their account. Hey, Jason, I weigh 175 pounds, about 11% body fat. I'm trying to lean bulk. I'm currently eating at a 10% surplus of my TDE and eating almost 450 grams of carbs. Is that too many carbs? No. If you're only at a 10% surplus, assuming it's you know that it's exactly a 10%, or is your fat too low? Like, are you having dietary deficiencies? Are you not absorbing, certain fat soluble vitamins? It's like that would be your concern. Like, are your carbs so high you're not getting enough fat, or you're not getting enough protein, right? Otherwise, what's the problem? How many grams of carbs do you think I was eating when I bulked? I want you to think about that. When I was eating 5,500 calories, how many grams of carbs a day do you think I was eating? probably 800. All right. Conventional is a better test of strength, is a hill I'd be willing to die on. I am slightly biased towards that viewpoint only, but I think sumo is still legitimate. Jason, this troll is actually paying you to troll and actually made a page against you. His hands out the most beta guy in existence. Dude, he's had that page for like 10 years. Right? He's had it for like 10 years. He's done all sorts of stuff to get it out there with SEO and everything, dude. It's so fucking weird. Imagine being that guy. And all I'm doing is winning powerlifting meets, making money, loving my life, being happy, helping people. And he's just going to give me more money. That's cool. Hey, dude, could you send me some more money? Oh, another guy. See, do you know why he chose the name Uncle Mike? Because that's the uncle who molested me, who I pressed charges against as an adult, who's now dead and burning in hell. And he thinks it's going to get to me. Give me more money. Come on. Pay me. Give me that money. All right. Coach, I'd reckon you were eating 650 grams of carbs daily. No, it's closer to 800. All right. Notice we just don't skip a beat and get right back to answering questions. Just keep making that money off these clowns. Been getting back into b-ball lately, and the biggest limiting factor has been intrinsic foot muscle pain fatigue, like worse for me due to flat feet. Any tips to building up endurance with this? Some sled drags. I have Jordan drag a sled. Bro, it will strengthen your feet, especially if you're dragging up on the balls of your feet. Yep. Would you recommend a novice do sets of deadlifts for something such as 3x5 in a workout as compared to 1x5? Usually not unless we take them to like 5-3-1. Coach, what is your recommendation for mobility work? Squats. My squat has been ramping up, but I feel my butt weak could be problematic. I'm not sure if it's fixable. Work on your technique. Why do people say pendlay rows or deadlift hurts your back? They are weak or they have bad form. Yeah, they have a weak back and bad form. They will make your back stronger. Coach, for my overhead press day, for my accessories, I'm thinking of doing behind the neck press, 5x10, laterals 5x20, rows and curls. I don't recommend you do the behind the neck press. Yes, I used to do it on camera. I'm going to recommend that you not. Right? When lean bulking as a novice, how much weight should you aim to gain a month? As a novice, dude, you can gain a pound or two easy. You can gain up to 2 pounds as a novice and still lean bulk in some cases. Imagine paying someone you try to expose. I know, right? They're just sending me money. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they think they're actually upsetting me. They're giving me money. Oh, you do seem happier lately. He said, I am, Genos. Dude, I'm at a point in my life where I am legitimately happy. I am legitimately and truly happy. Jason, why does Greg Doucette say bulking? I don't know why Greg Doucette says anything. I don't care. You ever going to do accommodating resistance again? I have no plans to, but I don't want to say never. Right? Has Coach ever gone into detail how he manages mobility after being bedridden? Did he just hop right back? Dude, no. I covered it in detail. Mike, I really don't like to think back on that time. I'm at a really happy point in my life. Okay? I'm at a really happy point in my life. That was one of the worst periods in my life. And so I don't like to go back and think about it. All I'm going to say is that it took a lot of work. It was hard. It was hard. It was a lot of work. But see, I'm already getting sad just thinking about it. So let's go back over to happier stuff. Glad I caught the live. Can a guy run just 500 test sip without anything else? No, without any problems. I don't know. No, don't ever microdose anything. That's stupid. Without Nova, I can't guarantee you won't have gyno. It's going to depend on the person. Some people will be fine. I don't recommend you ever run AIs. Right? I am anti-AI. You might need Nova depending upon the person at 500 though for nipples. Keep doing you, Jason. You are positively making an impact, getting people strong and more athletic, and most importantly, beating those world records. Thank you, Jordan. This is one of my clients who I coach, so he actually has conversations with me. And I just made your vlog today, Jordan. It'll be up Sunday. Tips for increasing ankle mobility for squatting. Can only reach depth on my toes. That's something I'd have to coach, brother. Hey, coach, what do you think of people saying you can replace squats with hack versus where you don't compete? And oh my God, I don't want to hear that. Truth, no one wants to hear that shit. We all need to be strong, and the squat is a basic strength exercise, right? You don't compete in anything. Well, why don't you compete in anything? You know what? If everybody decided to be an athlete of some type, half of our health problems in America would completely go away, right? Have you ever heard of the Bigger, Leaner, Stronger program where he recommends lifting 3 hard sets with 4 to 6 range and moving up 10 pounds? I mean, that sort of program would work in theory, but I don't think you should be training to failure when you're doing it. I'm not a fan of failure training. Hey, Jason, any plans for your Friday night? I will be going to bed. I'm 45 years old and a strength athlete training for Worlds. I'm going to be honest. What do you think I do on a Friday night? I sleep for 10 hours. Come on. All truth. Now I'm going to ban you. We know you're a troll now. Bye-bye. Would you put Ollie weightlifting focus on 531 template? No. Joseph, I have people who run 531 templates who do Ollie lift. We don't focus on that. We build their strength and then they do their Ollie lifting as technique work separately. I have a few guys, people who do cleans and snatches. Jordan can tell you that. I sent him links to one of my guys who just reps out 200 pounds for 5x5 after deadlifting, right? Let me get rid of this other troll here. You guys are typing too fast, making it hard for me to ban the troll. It's floating around. I don't want to accidentally ban one of you guys. All right, we got rid of him. These guys are absolutely disgusting. Why would someone make fun of someone for being molested? What's exactly? I mean, that tells you everything about these people's mindset. What, Matt? Come on, don't ask me about that. Jason, what age did you start T or T? I'm almost 36 and thinking about it. You know I don't discuss that. Why don't you go get your blood work tested? And if you qualify, you should 100% go on it, right? It's that simple. If you're 25 and you qualify, you should 100% absolutely go on it. Doesn't matter your age. If you have low testosterone, you need to get your doctor to prescribe it. Don't care how old you are. All right. What are your biggest 3 tips on meal prepping to stay consistent for a long period of time? Do you eat cheat meals? I had a cheat meal at Christmas. I had a cheat meal, obviously cheat after weigh-ins. I had a cheat meal a couple of weeks ago on my deload. I did have a cheat meal. Jason, who's the GOAT? Oh, gosh. There they go. They're going to keep paying. What do you think is a minimum effective volume for a single training session? About 5 sets. Coach, have you ever heard of Nightbot? It's a free bot that helps you moderate your live streams. Yeah, Omar, that might be a bit much. I'm paranoid about someone at gym complaining if I slam bar on deadlift. How much am I losing if I control the concentric? Yeah, you can control this. It's fine. Benny, do you notice even my heavy singles lately? Do I control the eccentric? I did that at meet too. What if I'm already happy with the way I look with my overall fitness level strength? What would be the most reasonable and efficient way to train just to keep it as it is? I don't know, Roxer. Just keep doing whatever got you there. I eat over 5,000 calories, sleep well, and still think I have better gains on about 10 sets a week than closer to 20. Am I tripping? No, dude, that's more common than you think. What are some warning signs you're developing gyno? Your nipples will itch or they'll hurt, and they'll usually start swelling. What are your opinions on the minimalist routines in Beyond Brown? What would you change of it? I like Beyond Brown. I would need to actually look over those routines to say what I would change. It's not a bad book or resource to kind of look at, though. Not a gear user, but how do people stay fertile on it? Depends on the person. Some people don't lose any fertility. Some people only lose it from certain drugs, and then it comes back when they come off, and so on and so forth. Let me put it this way. I can turn my sperm count off or on anytime I want. I'll just leave it at that. The trolls are annoying to us lifters who actually care about getting stronger, nor the hate. Well, I'm going to keep letting them pay me. Coach, by the way, your song that you use for your pull-ups is called Incursion, if anyone wants to know. I believe that's the name. Yep. What do you think of Dave, the under construction guy, big English guy who talks about special ups? I know Dave, actually. I lived in the UK. I know Dave. He's all right. I think he gets a lot of stuff wrong, but I like Dave, and I think he's a generally nice guy. What is the easiest giveaway to tell the guys on steroids at the gym just by looking at them? I mean, you can't always tell because a lot of guys who use gear barely look like they lift. That's your problem. Hey, Jason, thoughts on body weight step-ups for time as GPP? I do them with a vest and quad accessory at times, 100 kilos vest. That seems to be I think that's reasonable. I actually think that's reasonable, Alex. I get most insane DOMs in my glutes from lunges, even though I squat wide and do reverse hypers every week. Am I likely to have weak glutes? I don't know. Probably not. All right, guys, we're about to wind this down. It's been an hour. You have all been lovely today. I love all of you. I hope it has been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.